My hometown, Hazel Creek, is the kind of place that doesn't take kindly to outsiders. Anyone who marries in or out has to go through a family trial. A week before our wedding, I asked my boyfriend, Caleb Thornton, to join me on a pre-wedding trip. But just because his childhood friend Brianna Hart said, "I just want to see Savannah fall in the water. It'd be hilarious," he didn't hesitate. Jump. I froze, sure I'd misheard. He admitted, "This trip is to make it up to Bri. You took me from her, so she's pissed. Just let her blow off steam." Hart turned to ash. I looked at him like he was already dead. He forgot Hazel Creek is my home, and my people aren't exactly pushovers. They were watching from both banks of the river right now, and I didn't move. Caleb frowned. "What's your problem?" I took a deep breath, swallowed the burn in my nose, and told him, "I'm not jumping. I can't swim. If I go under, I'll drown." We're in the middle of Cattail Creek. Even a good swimmer could run out of strength and drown out there, and I was a total landlubber. "Bri wants to see it, just deal with it." Stepped up and grabbed my wrist. He squeezed so hard my bones ached. I struggled, my eyes burning as I choked out, "Caleb, I'm not risking my life because she had a thought. You won't die. I'll save you." His voice was impatient now. His usually soft face had gone cold as frost. He lowered his voice. "Last month you made Bri kneel in front of your studio. Now she's just asking you to jump off a boat. Call it even." I couldn't believe it. Brianna knelt because she'd stolen my design drafts and sold them behind my back. She didn't know that draft was a custom order for another company. Double selling nearly got her sued and jailed. Caleb knew all that. He dragged her to my studio door and forced her to apologize. At the time, I softened because he stood up for me. I handled everything myself. But now I saw the truth. He just didn't want her to go to jail. She's the one who messed up, so why do I have to be the one making her happy? I shoved his hand off and bit out, "You love her. Fine, wedding's off, we're done." Caleb's face went dark. "Threaten me with a breakup. Doing this for you. Bri and I grew up together. My parents treat her like a daughter. When you marry me, we're all going to be family. Why are you making a scene?" The future. The second he threw me in the river for Bri, there was no future. I took a breath. "Tell them to turn the boat around." I could finish, his arm locked around my waist. My feet left the deck. Caleb had picked me up. A cold dread flooded me. "What are you doing?" "You'll be fine." That was it. 1 second later, he hurled me into the river. Splash, ice-cold water filled my mouth and nose. I thrashed, panicked, gasping for air. "Help, somebody help me." "Ha ha ha, Caleb. Look at her flailing, she's like a duck. So funny." Brianna leaned against him, pointing at me and laughing. The others around them hesitated. Isn't this a little much? We thought you were joking. She really can't swim." "You feel bad for her jumping yourselves?" Brianna sniffed. "Caleb paid for this boat. We can do whatever we want. Right, Caleb?" "Right." He ruffled her hair, doting. "Whatever makes you happy." Watching that from the water, my heart got ripped apart. Then, through the haze, I heard a distant call. "Savannah." I couldn't turn to see who it was, but I knew it had to be someone from my village. I couldn't just drown. I tried to remember how to save myself, and by some miracle, my hand caught the edge of the boat. "Help." I didn't finish. A paddle slammed down on my head. The pain exploded, and through it I heard Brianna's smug laugh. She leaned close and whispered, "You still don't get it, do you? Caleb loves me. I already slept in the house you decorated. By the way, nice mattress. Real comfortable." Hand let go. I sank. Brianna tossed the paddle aside, then threw herself into Caleb's arms, pointing at me. "Caleb, Savannah lied. She can totally swim. She just tried to pull me in. I'm so scared." "No, that's not true." I wanted to explain, but the current dragged me deeper. My head was splitting. I couldn't fight anymore. Right before I blacked out, I heard Caleb's disgusted voice. "Be scared. I'll protect you. As for Savannah, she's being ridiculous. Let her soak. Maybe it'll knock some sense into her. We don't need to wait. Let's keep going." The boat left. I drifted down into the dark. The green water wrapped around me like a soft net, and I stopped fighting. What came after felt like a dream. The villagers pulled me out, gave me CPR, took me to the county clinic. I heard voices, angry, worried, fierce. My grandma. The town elders. People who'd known me my whole life. My grandmother's family had lived in Hazel Creek for generations. Few daughters ever married out. My mom was one of them. She fell in love with my dad, brought him back, put him through the family trial, and married him with everyone's blessing. Later, my dad's business took off, and I stayed in the city. But every new year, I came back with my mom to see my grandmother. And because we never wanted trouble coming to the village, even Caleb didn't know about any of this. He threw Savannah in the river right in front of us. That's a slap in the face. When did our people ever take this kind of crap? If we don't tie him up and make him kneel and apologize, this isn't over. The shouting went on until I frowned in my sleep. Then it stopped. I woke up around midnight, burning with fever. "Savannah, you're awake." A girl with a braid ran out, yelling, "Grandma Ruth, Uncle Michael, Jake, she's awake." Soon my uncle, aunt, cousin, and grandmother were all crowded around me. Poor girl. Ruth held me tight. "You still hurting? You want something to eat? Grandma'll make it for you." The pain came rushing out. I hugged her and cried. Why did he do that? Caleb and I met in college. We'd been together 7 years, 18 to 25, all my youth, all my love, all of it went to him. I still remembered the first time I saw him. It was raining during freshman orientation. People were scattering everywhere. Someone crashed into someone else, and suddenly it was chaos. I got knocked down too. But what hit me faster than the ground was an embrace. Some guy fell on top of me, but he caught himself on his elbows, didn't crush me. His face was soaked, but he was smiling. "You okay?" My heart went crazy. From that day on, I watched him. Finally worked up the nerve to talk to him at a mixer. Then came graduation. That's when Brianna showed up in our city. She started pushing her way into our life, our work, our relationship. I fought with Caleb about her over and over. He went from gentle reassurance to silent irritation. The wedding got postponed again and again. This trip wasn't just about bringing Caleb home to meet my grandmother. It was about hope. Hope that he and I could really make it work. I thought this time would be different, but I was wrong. I wouldn't be soft again. I calmed down, looked at all the worried faces around me, managed a small smile. "I'm okay." Savannah and that guy, Uncle Michael, hesitated. From the moment he threw me in, we were done. Voice was steady. "No coming back." And my uncle didn't push. They let me rest. As they left, I heard my cousin Jake mutter, "We're going to teach him a lesson." I didn't stop them. This was the price Caleb and his people had to pay. I wasn't going to feel bad. But I never expected this. That evening, Grandma and my uncle went out. I was sitting alone, eating chicken noodle soup, when I heard a familiar voice from outside the yard. "This place isn't so bad. Let's go in and rest." The gate swung open. I looked up, and there was Caleb and Brianna's whole crew. "Savannah, what are you doing here?" Caleb's eyes went wide. I fired back. "What are you doing here?" They were soaking wet, looking trashed. Even get me started. This place is a nightmare, total rednecks everywhere. We were just out on the boat, and out of nowhere, a bunch of locals straight up kicked every single one of us into the river and took our boat. One of his friends complained. "Yes, we paid, and they gave us triple the money back just to take the boat away. If we hadn't run, they would have caught us." I got it. The villagers had gone after them for me. I gave them a nasty smile. "Good." Brianna saw my face and stormed over. She knocked my bowl of soup right out of my hands. "Look at you, got yourself out of the river, found a nice place to crash, and now you're eating." I stared at the broken ceramic on the ground, the soup all over her shoe. Rage hit me like a wave. "Are you insane?" I didn't hold back. I slapped her. Brianna fell, clutching her face, staring at me like she couldn't believe it. "You hit me." "Bri." Caleb rushed over and helped her up. She grabbed his arm, sobbing, "Caleb. My own parents have never even laid a hand on me. You need to teach her a lesson." "Savannah, apologize." His eyes were cold. His voice was an order. I clenched my fists. "No, I won't say it again." Reached into his collar and pulled out a pocket watch necklace. My heart stopped. That was my grandmother's, my late grandmother. My only heirloom. My bag had been on the boat when they threw me in. Caleb remembered to grab the necklace as he fell in, and now he was using it against me. "If you don't apologize to Bri, you're not getting this back." Throat closed up. "You know how much this means to me." His face stayed hard. He pulled the necklace off, ready to snap it. Third time's the charm. Every bone in my body ached. I bit my lip and forced the words out. "I'm sorry." "Enough." Brianna's face twisted with malice. "You slapped me, I'm getting those back." She walked up and hit me hard. I wanted to fight back, but I heard Caleb's warning. "Savannah." Just my name, and I froze, didn't move. Brianna smiled and kept swinging. 1, 2, 3, until I couldn't stay upright anymore. I fell, my palms scraping across broken ceramic. I winced. She finally stopped. "My hand hurts." Then, like a queen, "I'm hungry. Go make me something to eat." I looked down at my bleeding palm. My eyes burned. I wiped the tears with my other hand and looked at Caleb. "Give me back the necklace." "First," he said. "Then you get it." I had no choice. I dragged myself up off the ground, walked into the kitchen under their laughing, mocking, pitying stares. I pulled a piece of ceramic out of my palm, bit down on the pain, wrapped the cut in a clean cloth, and pulled out my phone there at the house. My cousin texted back in 1 second. "Coming now." I exhaled in relief. Then my phone was snatched out of my hand. "Who are you texting?" Caleb stood there, frowning at my screen. My heart jumped into my throat. If he found out my family were the ones who'd kicked them off the boat, what would he do to me? I was alone. I couldn't fight them. Sweat beaded on my forehead, but I kept my face calm. the people who run this place. I looked down. They're only hosting me. If you guys are staying, I have to let them know. Glanced at the screen. I hadn't saved my cousin's number, so nothing looked suspicious. He handed the phone back. Put onions in the food. Bri doesn't eat them. I pressed my lips together. Bitterness spread through my chest. There was a time Caleb would remind chefs about my dislikes. Now, he was worried about Bri's onions while my hand was bleeding. He looked at me and something in his face softened. He reached out to touch my cheek, then saw the red welts and pulled back. Bri's sensitive. We're gonna be family, so cut her some slack. When we get back home, I'll make it up to you. Didn't know. There was no future. I stared at him. If you're really sorry, give me the necklace. He frowned. If I give it back, you'll just hurt her again. He was keeping it as leverage. I opened my mouth to curse him out, then stopped. Why bother? He started to say something else, but Brianna yelled from outside. Caleb, coming. Answered without thinking and walked away through the window. I heard them laughing. I clenched my fists. I didn't want to cook for them, but I did it anyway. For the necklace, I looked at the food I'd made. I felt tired and stupid. Caleb knew me, knew I'd give in. But I didn't expect this. The second I finished cooking, Brianna grabbed his arm, all excited. I don't want to eat anymore. It's getting dark. Let's go up the mountain and look at the stars. I heard there are wild boars up there, Caleb said. Brianna looked at me and smiled. My stomach dropped. Sure enough, we can use bait to keep the boars busy. I think Savannah would be perfect. Are you insane? I snapped. If you want to die, do it yourself. There really were wild boars on Black Ridge. Last week, my grandma told me one had gored a villager. Caleb, I really want to see it. Brianna ignored me and pouted at him. Caleb looked at me. The boars might not even come out, Savannah. Just do this for Bri. Soon as she's done looking at the stars, I'll give you the necklace. In your dreams. I knew my cousin was almost back. I pointed at him and shouted, using my dead grandmother's necklace to threaten me, throwing me in the river. You're disgusting. If you break that necklace, I'll take you to court. I swept my gaze over Brianna and the others. Assault, attempted murder, aiding and abetting. I'm coming after every one of you. Caleb's face went dark. Take that back and I'll forget this happened. I laughed. Every word is true. Savannah, you're not listening. His eyes burned. He stepped toward me. I didn't want to do this again, but you won't behave. Panic hit me. I ran for the gate. I could see my uncle and the others 20 feet away. A baseball bat hit my skull. Pain exploded and my legs gave out. The last thing I heard was Brianna's frantic whisper. She was yelling for help. Caleb, let's go out the back. We can't let those nosy villagers catch us. When I woke up, I was tied to a tree. Brianna stood in front of me, a knife in her hand. She smiled low. Tonight you're bait for the animals. Then she cut my calf. The pain was sharp and blood poured down my leg. Blood would bring the boars. Terror flooded me. I thrashed against the ropes and screamed at Caleb, let me go, this is murder. Caleb's voice was calm. You'll be fine, I'll come get you later. Held out his hand to Brianna. Let's go. Okay. She beamed, dropped the knife, and took his hand. The others followed. I watched them walk away and screamed, there are real boars here, let me go. Grunt and animal noise came out of the dark. I froze, the ground shook, trees swayed, then two glowing eyes locked onto me. Was I really going to die here? The boar charged. Right when I thought it was over, Savannah. I almost sobbed with relief. Flashlights cut through the dark, the villagers. Caleb stood at the top of Black Ridge, staring at the stars. Something made him uneasy. He heard shouts on the wind, sounded like animals. Or people. Were there really boars on this mountain? Caleb, what are you thinking about? Brianna's soft voice came right next to his ear. He jerked back. You're too close, he frowned. I said I'd go on this trip with you, but I'm marrying Savannah, you know that. She bit her lip. I know, but don't you feel anything for me? Not even a little. She grabbed his arm. What does she have that I do? You want me too. That night we don't bring that up. His voice came out sharp, cold. The others turned to look. He took a breath and steadied himself. I was drunk. That's the only reason I went along with your demands. After this trip, we're just friends. No, tears spilled down her cheeks. You love me. I love Savannah. Then why did you throw her in the river? Because you asked me to. He pulled his arm free. His voice was cruel now. I was trying to get rid of you. Turned and walked away. They'd been up here almost an hour. He needed to go cut Savannah down and explain everything. He made it 2 steps. Then Brianna laughed. You're going back for her. She's probably already been eaten. Nothing left but bones. Froze. What did you say? Her tear-streaked face twisted into a sneer. If she's dead, Caleb, it's your fault. Before he could respond, a long, horrible boar scream split the night. Everyone went pale. Caleb forgot about Brianna. He ran toward where they'd left Savannah. He fell 3 times, covered in mud and scratches. The closer he got, the louder the screams and voices became. His heart hammered. If Savannah was hurt, he couldn't think about it. The mountain was dark and cold, but halfway down it was bright as day. Caleb slowed. Then he heard her voice and ran again. Savannah. He pushed through the bushes and saw her in the middle of a crowd of villagers, pale as a ghost. She had a jacket over her shoulders, blood on her leg. Someone was bandaging her on the other side. A tall, fit guy ripped a hunting spear out of a twitching wild boar's neck. Blood sprayed. Caleb stumbled back, but a hand clamped onto his shoulder. He turned and found himself face to face with a middle-aged man who looked a lot like Savannah. "You're the one who hurt our girl. Who are you?" Caleb stared at the man, already guessing. He looked past him at Savannah. For 1 second their eyes met. Then she looked away, cold as ice. The guy with the spear picked her up. The group started to leave. Caleb tried to go after them. "Savannah, you little punk, you think you can still chase her?" The middle-aged man grabbed his shoulder, yanked him back, and punched him in the face. Caleb hit the ground. The lights around him went dim. He looked up and saw villagers, dozens of them, slowly closing. "What are you doing?" Caleb tried to keep his voice steady. "You can't just hit me. I'll call the cops." "Go ahead, call them. You threw my niece in the river, tied her to a tree, and left her to get eaten by a boar. Let's see who the cops arrest." His jaw dropped. "Savannah is your niece." Then he pulled himself together. "I'm her fiancé. We're getting married. Uncle. Who are you calling uncle, you shameless piece of trash?" Another punch. "From the moment you threw my girl in the river for some other woman, you were done. Right now you're an attacker and she's the victim. She loves me. She wouldn't break up with me. And I didn't know there were boars up here." Uncle Michael laughed. "I don't care about your excuses. We saw what you did. Single thing you did to Savannah, I'm giving back 10 times. He nodded at his son. Jake lunged at Caleb. They fought. Uncle Michael jumped in and together they tied him up. "Me go. What are you doing? Let him go." Brianna and the others ran down the mountain. They tried to help, then stopped in the dark. More villagers stepped out, 100 of them, maybe more. "You thought you'd get away?" Uncle Michael raised his hand. "Come near us. That's illegal." Brianna shrieked and backed up. She tripped on a rock and fell. Someone grabbed her arm and threw her into the circle. "Ah," she clung to Caleb. "Caleb, help me." He shoved her off. "If you hadn't tied her to that tree, none of this would have happened." His voice was full of disgust. Brianna stared, stunned, but Caleb didn't look at her again. He took a breath, stopped struggling, and dropped to his knees in front of Uncle Michael. "I was wrong. Punish me however you want. Just after it's over, let me see Savannah. Let me explain." Uncle Michael looked down at him. "We'll see if you even make it that long." The county clinic, after they stitched me up, I was still shaking. The boar's tusks had been inches from my face. Grandma held me, rubbing my back. "SHH, you're okay. Grandma's here." "I already called your parents. They're driving over tonight. You'll see them tomorrow." I couldn't stop crying. I fell asleep in her arms. When I woke up, it was Grandma next to me. It was the guy who'd saved me yesterday. He was maybe 20. Good looking. He handed me a glass of water when he saw I was awake. "Drink some. You had a fever last night. Your grandma went to get your parents. She asked me to stay with you." I took a sip. When I put the glass down, he was still looking at me. Intense. I felt weird. Then Grandma came back with my parents. He slipped out. I couldn't help watching him. My mom teased me. "Savannah, you and Ethan haven't seen each other in years and you're already this close." I blinked. "Ethan? Do I know him?" "You forgot?" Grandma said. "That's Ethan Hayes. He's 5 years younger than you. You played together every New Year when you were little. One year you tried to hide him in the trunk and take him home. The whole village thought he'd been kidnapped. Gave everyone a scare." Hearing that, it all came back. The cute little boy who followed me everywhere. Then his parents moved overseas for work and they took him with them. After that, my memories faded. No wonder I hadn't recognized him. "The kid grew up. We'll go thank him later," Mom said. Then her face got serious. "About Caleb, what do you want to do about the wedding?" I didn't hesitate. "We're done, the wedding's off." Parents nodded. I hesitated. "Will it affect you guys, the business partnerships?" "Nothing is more important than you," Dad said. Then he looked at Grandma, a little nervous. "Just tell Michael not to go too far. We don't want legal trouble." Grandma snorted. "They hurt Savannah. They deserve worse." She saw Dad's face and waved a hand. "Relax. It's not the Middle Ages. We just trapped them on the mountain all night, then took them boating again. They'll be back soon." I glanced at the window. It was already noon. "Worry, your uncle will be home for lunch." Grandma smiled. "Our girl needs to get her strength back. Grandma's gonna make you some chicken." I leaned into her. "Thank you, Grandma." My injuries weren't too bad. After they sewed me up, I left the clinic and went home with my grandmother. As soon as I walked into the yard, I smelled mud and blood. I looked up. Caleb was kneeling in front of the gate. "Savannah." He looked up and I almost gasped. He was wrecked. Cuts and scrapes all over him, mud and algae in his clothes. He could barely stand. He tried to get up, fell after 2 steps. His leg looked broken. I frowned. Uncle Michael walked over, grabbed Caleb by the collar, and tossed him aside. Save the pity act for someone who cares. Come on, Savannah. Let's go inside. Savannah, please, let me explain. He tried to crawl after me, eyes red. I ignored him, but he grabbed my parents' hands. Mr. and Mrs. Reed, I made a mistake. Brianna tricked me. We respect Savannah's choice. Pulled away, disgusted. I thought you were a good guy. I was wrong. Dad said, I already talked to your parents. The engagement is off. You have nothing to do with Savannah anymore. Looked like he'd been struck by lightning. No, he turned to me, begging. Savannah, all those years. I stopped. I looked back at him. His eyes lit up with hope. And I said quietly, yeah, all those years makes me sick. The gate closed behind me. Inside, my uncle told me what they'd done. Trapped Caleb and the others on the mountain all night, even let the boars chase them. Right before the boars would have gotten them, they killed the animals. Them feel some real fear, Uncle Michael said with a cold smile. Then I took the bastards out on the boat, kicked them in, and let them float for an afternoon. He wasn't going to pull them out until they were half dead. Cousin Jake held up his phone. Feel better? I smiled. Just don't do that back home. Relax, we know what we're doing, and they started it. I nodded, talked with them a while, then went to take a nap. In the evening, rain started tapping on the window. When I woke up, a letter was on my windowsill. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'll prove my love with actions. I recognized the handwriting, tore the paper to pieces, and threw it away. Like that changed anything. That same evening, the villagers ran Caleb and his friends out of town. My cousin told me later, because they were already beat up and angry, they turned on each other. Punched it out in the car, grabbed the wheel, and crashed. I shrugged. I didn't really care. 3 days later, I left with my parents to go back to Fairhaven and handle the wedding cancellation. Before I went, I saw Ethan one more time. I'm moving to Fairhaven next month, he said. Graduated. For some reason, I couldn't meet his eyes. Okay, I said, smiling. I'll buy you dinner. Savannah, my parents waved. I nodded at him and left. Back in Fairhaven. I found a pile of gifts outside our house. The housekeeper said Mr. Thornton dropped them off. It all away. I didn't hesitate. From now on, don't let him near the house. If he forces his way in, call the cops or have security drag him out. She nodded, but he caught me at work. In front of everyone, he grabbed my hand, dropped to one knee, and held out a bouquet of roses. The wedding's off, I know, but we can still fix this. Savannah, please forgive me. I'll make it all up to you, I swear. Stared. A few who didn't know the story started to cheer, then stopped when they saw my face. I was going to let you keep some dignity, but fine. I looked down at him, calm and cold. You think this is all Brianna's fault? I stepped closer. He went pale. When I was killing myself decorating our house, what were you doing? When I begged you not to hurt me, what were you doing? Your love is just a performance. I warned him, show up again and I'll see you in court. I still have the medical report. No, I really love you. Shook his head, voice breaking. Don't leave me. I knew he loved me. 7 years, the first meeting, all of it. Love could be ugly, but real. I looked at him and delivered the final verdict. I will never be with someone who already hurt me. I pulled my hand free. Call security. If any unauthorized person gets into this building again, it's alright up. Yes, ma'am. An employee ran off. Security dragged Caleb away. The flowers got swept up. Everything went back to normal. I walked into my office and saw a familiar face. My assistant said, Ms. Reed, this is our new intern, Ethan Hayes. Hey, Savannah. He smiled. He works for my company now. I was surprised and honestly happy. Why didn't you tell me? We'd been talking online for a month. Our messages went back and forth all the time. Our tastes were weirdly similar. We'd gotten close without me noticing. Wanted to surprise you. Stepped closer and held out his hand. Looking forward to working with you. I shook it. When I tried to pull back, his fingers threaded through mine, tight as vines. I froze, then he let go. So fast I almost thought I imagined it. My ears felt hot, but I didn't overthink it. I told my assistant to show him around. I watched his back disappear and let out a breath. After that, I made it clear. No Caleb. And he stayed away. Later, I found out my parents and the Hayes family had put pressure on the Thorntons. They forced Caleb to move overseas. A year passed. Then I heard he'd gone bankrupt. Apparently, Brianna was involved. After the car crash, she lost part of her leg. She latched onto Caleb, and together they destroyed his company's finances. Not my problem. Right then, I was leaving work. Ethan was waiting to take me home. 6 months after he started at the company, he'd told me how he felt. I thought about it, and went with my heart. Ready, Savannah? He opened the car door for me. I nodded. As I walked, I caught a glimpse of a hunched figure in a corner. I didn't look again. My life had moved on, and the past was just the past. This is Listening Novel. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed today's story, please like and subscribe for more stories, and stay tuned for what's next.